Hello, everybody out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. And today we're going to continue to talk some more about The Housemaid from December of 2025. That's 2 months ago now. Damn. Time is moving. Time is moving. Okay, so The Housemaid. Yes, this movie is a piece of crap. Okay, not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's nowhere near being good. Okay, too much of it just doesn't make sense. This movie, it has a big ask for you, the audience. Okay, the legitimate, intelligent audience. Okay, is they ask you, you got to be an idiot to enjoy the movie. So check your brain at the door, and you can pick up your brain when you leave the theater. Okay, that's what this movie wants you to do. Okay, the genre is, I guess, it's like erotic thriller. Okay. So that whole deal with that genre, okay, is that they want you to get horny. They want you to feel passionate emotions. They want you to get angry. They want you to get surprised. They want you to get turned on. They want you to get, to feel betrayal. They want you to feel joy. They want to hit you with all these different emotions because they want to play with your emotions like a friggin' roller coaster. That's what they want. Okay, obviously this movie's made for women. Okay, and women like that stuff. They like their emotions being toyed with. Okay, that's why romance novels exist. That's why soap operas existed for so long. Okay, the kind of stuff that women like. Okay, those chick shows. The Gossip Girls. Back in the day there was one Prick Hill and Gilmore Sluts and Ever Woody and Dawson's Crack and all those shows, okay? Because it played with your emotions. It dealt with relationships. Who's hot? Even my generation, we had 90210. Okay, we had Melrose Place. I mean, oh my God, we had some crappy stuff, man. Back in my generation, okay. I don't watch that stuff, but the girls I dated watched it. They watched it. And Sex in the City. I've reviewed every episode of Sex in the City. That's one of the reasons society is so screwed up right now. That's why women are so screwed up right now. It's because of Sex in the City, stuff like that, stuff that promoted that whole thing. I don't need a man. I can have sex like a man. Like what the hell? Anyway, so it doesn't work. But yeah. So that genre, the genre that I cover here, talks about that stuff. Okay, it makes you feel. It elicits feelings from you. Okay, but it doesn't require you to think very much. Okay, basically, whenever you actually have to use logic, okay, because there's a part of your mind that wants this all to make sense. So you kind of like try to find reasons to make it make sense. And the movie like spoon feeds you a little bit of thing, but once you really think about what they just told you, it doesn't fit at all. For example, Millie, our main character, played by Sydney Sweeney. Okay, her boobs are a different actress. Okay, she has her own cell phone. Okay, and then all of a sudden her boss Nina hires her, gives her a new cell phone. So this is yours is ancient. Here's a better one, and it's got all the family's credit card information on it. Okay, well that's good. That's helpful. Okay, because now she can use that cell phone to contact Nina, to contact the family. She can use that to buy things for them. Okay, because the credit card information is on. All that makes sense. Okay, but why in the hell would Millie give up her old phone just because she got the new phone? You see what I mean? Millie wouldn't do that. No normal person would do that. You've got your own phone for your own contacts. That your friends can call you on. Okay, the people that your family and all that. Okay, your credit card information is all on your phone. And your employer gives you a new cell phone, so use that one for work. Problem solved. But for some reason, Millie just ditches her phone and just accepts this phone as her new phone. A phone which clearly is paid for by her employer. Her employer can track that phone. Okay, they can look up all the emails, all the text messages. Her employer can look up everything that happens on that phone. Okay, can track the location. And can turn it off whenever she wants to. You see what I mean? What if you're stuck somewhere and you can't get out and you got to call for help? And Nina turns the phone off. What can you do? Nothing. Because you got rid of your phone already. You see what I mean? Once you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it was, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. But the movie doesn't want you to think about it. It wants you to just go on to the next thing. You see, we got a story to tell here. Let's just believe it and let's move on. No. Anyone with a rational mind would have seen that. You see what I mean? Okay, and most of you women, obviously most of you women, okay, you're more emotional. That's not a dig on you, okay, it's just true. Okay, and if you're focusing too much on the emotional aspect, because when this scene happens, you know, Millie's getting bombarded with all this information about this new house, about the room, about how she can go up and down the stairs to get there, how her bathroom is downstairs on the other side of the hall, and how, you know, the room is soundproof, it's only one window that can't be opened, and she couldn't fit through it anyway, blah, blah, blah. So we're getting bombarded with all this information, and then all of a sudden Nina comes up here with the phone, like, oh, here's a new phone for you, blah, blah, blah. So all this happening so fast. And they did that on purpose because they don't want you to stop and think about what just happened, okay? And that's bad filmmaking, okay? Because the moment, you know, I didn't stop thinking what was going on. Wait a minute, that makes no sense. Why would you be in a room? That's the first thing I thought of during that scene. Why would you be in a room that has a window you can't open and you can't fit through if you had to escape, okay? Why would you be in a room that has a heavy oak door that locks from the outside that you cannot break open if you tried? Okay, there's no bathroom in that room, okay? And now she's giving you a phone? Okay, that she can clearly turn off anytime she wants. She can track you. She can read all your texts. She can all that stuff. And on top of all that, the room is soundproof. They hit you with all that information like within like 1 minute. So they don't want you to think about it. But if you think about it, why would anybody take that job? Why would anybody want to live there under those circumstances? You see what I mean? And then you go into like the claw marks on the door. So obviously somebody had been locked in there in the past and they try to claw their way out. And that's pretty damn obvious. So like all this stuff, because the movie hits you with it so fast, it expects you not to think about it or dwell on it. Just move on to the next thing, okay? But that didn't work for me because every time I got hit with something like that, boom, I immediately countered it with logic. That makes no sense. 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 You know? So, what is it? Because I'm a guy? Maybe, I don't know. You know, but I mean, I went to see this movie with a woman, and she caught it right away as well. Like, what the hell? You know? I mean, some of the stuff I had to tell her, you know, like for example, Andrew is always walking around with that wife beater on, you know, showing off his muscles, you know, like, come on, that's ridiculous. Who the hell walks around like that? Okay, especially when you have a live-in servant there. I mean, this is ridiculous, you know. I mean, come on. And even she didn't catch that at once, but once I pointed out to her, she's like, oh yeah, every time he shows up, he's always wearing a tight-fitting wife beater. Like, what the hell? And he's doing that on purpose to show off his veins on his arms and shit, and his ripped abs, you know, his big, broad shoulders and stuff. You know, it's so fucking obvious. Every time he walks around, his collar is always open, showing off his chest, you know? Oh, look at my masculine chest. Ugh, that hair sticking out. Just getting you all wet, isn't it? You see what I mean? Like, that's just going on, and it's so freaking obvious. No guy would ever act that way. This is dumb. This is freaking dumb. Okay, but the movie, because they're playing with your emotions like a roller coaster, you know, they don't expect you to notice those things. But see, because this movie doesn't appeal to me as far as the sexual element goes, I mean, yeah, Sydney Sweeney's hot and all that, okay? But I'm not going to go to war with Troy over her, okay? You see what I mean? So, like, there's very, very little in it for me. We get more of freaking, of Andrew, Brandon Skellner, the actor that plays him. Okay, we get more, like nudity of him than we do of Sydney Sweeney. Okay, you see what I mean? So this movie really has nothing for me, okay? And the fact that Millie is a dumb fuck throughout the whole movie, okay? And that she's a third-wave man-hating feminist by the end of the movie. Well, actually, I would argue and say that she was a man-hating feminist throughout the entire movie, okay? It was just her biology that was getting her turned on because she hadn't had sex. She hadn't been fucked in 10 years, okay? By a cock is what I mean, she got fucked in prison, but that was by women. And dildos and stuff. No, I'm talking about like by like a real man. She hadn't had one in 10 years. Okay, so I think that was just biology. Like her pussy was just hungry for the real thing. Okay, not so much that she loves and respects men. She doesn't. Okay, clearly every man has something to hide. Every man is a secret abuser, you know, who beats the crap out of women and just gets away with it. And that's why she exists, to bring justice to all the men that beat their wives and treat them like crap and lock them in rooms, which is all men. Right? You see what I mean? That's what this movie gives you. Okay, the women are all good and innocent. It's the men that are all fucked. And come on, the whole time I watched this movie, I remember kept thinking to myself, like, there's no good people in this movie. Where are the good people? Okay, where's the hero? Okay, because is that supposed to be a villain? You can have more than one villain, but if every character is a villain, then who are you rooting for? You see what I mean? Now, I'm not saying you can't make a good movie that way. You most definitely can. There's this incredible movie I saw called, what the hell was it? Oh, Hunting Humans. It's a very low budget movie. You can look it up. It's on DVD and Blu-ray. But you look it up. Hunting Humans. Okay, it's a very low budget independent movie. Okay, I think it came out in 2003, 2002, 2004, around that time. Okay, and that movie was about a serial killer. Okay, they copied a little bit off of American Psycho, but nowhere near the budget. It's a guy who lives in the suburbs. He's not in downtown Wall Street, New York, or nothing like that. Okay, he's not like a psycho version of Wall Street, nothing like that. But he's like this guy working a bullshit job, but he lives in this nice house. And the whole movie's told from his point of view. We're inside his mind, and he is a serial killer. Think like Dexter. I've never seen the show Dexter, but I heard it was really good. But he's like Dexter, I guess. He's a serial killer, but not a good. He doesn't just kill serial killers. Okay, no, he's evil. All right, he hunts innocent people. Okay, he follows them. He goes through their garbage. He poisons their food. He does all sorts of things. He loves killing, and he has no pattern. Okay, so the whole movie's told from his point of view. And we get to see how he plans out his murders. Like, he follows people home. He finds out what time of the day they get home. What door do they use every single time they go home? You know, stuff like that. He studies their patterns, and he says, that's how all my victims died, because of their patterns. They always do the same thing over and over again. You know, that's how I figured out what they're going to do. That's how I knew how to set a trap for them, okay? He takes a lot of pride in setting up patterns, okay, and studying the patterns of random people, and then using that against them so he can kill them when they least expect it, okay? That's what the movie's about, okay? But here's the thing. He finds a victim who works at a movie theater, right? He figured out exactly what time that guy leaves on certain days, and which person always leaves the door unlocked which employee always does it. So he makes it a point to get there at the right time. Well, he gets into the movie theater real late at night, like at 3 a.m. or something, okay? To kill the projectionist, right? But as soon as he gets there, okay, the projectionist is already dead. Someone else killed him. And there's a sign on that dead body. Now, the serial killer, who's the main character, his name's Eric. Okay? Eric Blue. Well, the sign on the dead body says, I have your pattern, Eric. So now he's like paying attention to the news and stuff. Now he realizes someone is stalking him. There's another serial killer out there, and it becomes a game of cat and mouse. Not just like, who's going to kill who, but who can outdo the other one. Okay? So bodies start piling up. All right? And Eric is like, oh, he thinks he can kill more than me in one day. I'm going to show him, and the whole time it's going on, he's trying to figure out who this other serial killer is. Okay? So it's a game of cat and mouse. Okay, it's really nice at the end, like it's a twist ending and all this kind of stuff. It's really good for a low budget movie, extremely entertaining. It's called Hunting Humans. You should watch it. But in that movie here, you've got both the protagonists, both serial killers are both evil. They both kill innocent people, and they're at war with each other. And they're playing mind games with each other. They're trying to fuck the other one over. Okay, they're trying to manipulate each other. It's awesome. Okay, no, there's no good main characters in there. Okay, like I said, the two leads are evil. But damn it, it's like watching a car crash. Once you see it, you can't take your eyes away. You got to see who's gonna win, which one is gonna out-manipulate the other one, which one is gonna do it, you see? And that was entertaining. That's why it was a very entertaining movie. So you most definitely can take a movie full of assholes, and make a good movie out of that, even though none of them are decent people. You can definitely do that, okay? But this movie fails because it thinks it's a good guy. Okay, Millie is presented as this innocent flower, okay, who's been unjustly treated, not just right now by her employers, but by life, okay? She saw something wrong, she tried to fix it, and she was unjustly punished for it because she's a woman. Okay, no, we all know that's bullshit in real life. Okay, but the movie expects you to say, oh, that's why she's so guarded and reserved and lonely. Okay, it's because she's been mistreated. Okay, and by making her the victim from the very beginning, watching her stand up to the victimizer shows you how strong and tough and brave and independent she is, and how she don't need no man. You see what I mean? And that's the allegory they're going with here. That's the story they're trying to tell you. Okay, we're gonna watch this woman who's been treated unfairly in life. Now we're gonna see her start to grow a big pair of balls that are so big that nobody in the damn house is capable of lifting them. All right, that's what this movie is. Okay, that's the feminist empowerment here. Okay, is that men are all pieces of shit. Okay, and Sydney Sweeney, the housemaid, is the one to put them in their place. You see what I mean? That's what this fucking movie is. Okay, it's a load of shit. Okay, like I said before, dude, where's the movie for us? Where's the movie where the guy goes out there and starts putting all those women in place? Okay, you know, the ones that are all those teachers that are married and have families, okay, that are cheating on their husbands, okay, with their underage students, okay. Every 3 days, there's another one getting busted, another one. Yeah, nobody's making movies about that. And I'm not talking about that Adam Sandler one, okay, where he did call That's My Boy, where they made it into a joke, where the teacher like seduces him when he's like 12 or something, gets pregnant by him, and then later on, when the kid, 18 years later, the kid's looking for his real dad, blah, blah. They made a big joke about it. It was a comedy. What's comedic about statutory rape? There's nothing comedic about that, okay? And if it was the other way around, do you think it'd be a joke? Do you think they would have made a comedy out of it if it was a male, the teacher was male, and the girl was 12 or 11? You think they would have made it? No, they wouldn't have, okay? Because they take that shit seriously. It's not a joke. But for some reason, when a woman does it to an underage boy, it's a joke. Oh, he wanted it, or whatever, okay? It doesn't matter. You're going to honestly, God, tell me that when some old man, okay, has sex with an underage girl, that every single girl didn't want to do it? Of course they did. That's not the point. Okay, the point is they're not old enough to give consent. That's the point. That's what makes it a crime. It doesn't matter whether or not the kid wanted to or didn't want to. What matters is they're not old enough to give permission. That's the thing. That's the crime, and nobody seems to look at that. You see, and that's the problem that I have. Okay, that's why women aren't treated for the same. They're not punished for the same crimes that men are punished for, and that's not equal. Okay, and there's a huge epidemic of women, okay, having sex with their underage students, okay, because most teachers are women, okay, but you don't see movies about that. You don't see anyone bringing awareness about that. Where are the documentaries? Where are the Oscar-winning documentaries? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares, because nobody cares that it's boys being abused. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, okay? Where's the hero to stand up for those boys? There isn't one, and Hollywood's not going to allow it. Because that goes against the narrative. Women have to be the victims, not the men. Men are always the perpetrators. They're never the victims. Not even when they're little boys. Okay? And the victimizers are adult women. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Okay? If you're going to show how terrible men are, that they need a housemaid, okay, to bring justice to them, okay, then you got to show that women can be terrible too. And this movie won't do that. Okay? It won't do that. It's not supposed to do that, but no movie will do that. Because that goes against the narrative. Remember, women good, men bad. Okay? And that's what pisses me off so much. You want to wonder why guys don't go to see movies, why Hollywood is failing? Hollywood's almost, in the next 10 years, they're not going to make any movies in Hollywood anymore. They're all going overseas now to get the tax breaks and stuff. Okay? Okay, because everything that Hollywood's churning out just woke garbage. And the society's already decided they don't want to spend their money on woke crap. Okay, especially men. Men don't want to spend their money just to see another movie that men are all crap, men are all assholes, men are all womanizers, men are all misogynists, men are all... And we're tired of that shit. We're sick and fucking tired of it. You see what I mean? We're tired of it. I'm tired of it. You know? And I wouldn't mind so much if this was just relegated to the chick flick realm. Because that's not, I'm not the target audience, okay? But when they start putting this shit into my superhero movies, into my Star Wars movies, into my Indiana Jones movies, they start putting this shit in there. Now I'm fucking pissed. Now I'm fucking pissed. Because that was the shit that I wanted to watch. You see what I mean? Anyway. Oh, before I forget, this here, sometimes I forget it. Diego knows and knows Diego. Okay, that right there is my X. Okay, because all these videos I posted on X. Right there, that's X. Diego knows and knows Diego. This one here, Diego de la Vega knows. That is my Rumble. Okay, this one's my Rumble. Okay, because unlike YouTube, Rumble will keep my videos up. Okay, they won't put you an age restriction or nothing on it, which is weird that they would do that, because like whenever I post these videos, I automatically put down 18 and older. I would never make a video like this for my own son to watch. You see what I mean? So anyway, but yeah, that's that. Now, where do we leave off? Now, where we left off last time, what do you call it? What's going on here? Yes, there was a conversation, a private conversation that happened downstairs in the kitchen, whereas Andrew and Millie were talking to each other, okay? Now, Andrew and his wife, Nina, just got back. I don't know where the hell they went, but they went to go see a doctor. They were gone all day. Okay, a fertility specialist, because they're trying to have a kid. And during this private conversation between Andrew and his housemaid, Millie, you know, he tells her a lot of things that are really none of Millie's business. She's an employee. Her job is to cook and clean and take care of the 7-year-old girl that lives there. Her job is not to help them with their marital problems, okay? But for some reason, Andrew, the owner, you know, the 6'2", hung to his shoe, you know, drop dead gorgeous male model guy with abs for days. That guy, he starts volunteering information about his wife. He's already started doing that. He did that downstairs in the man cave while they were watching Family Feud. He told his housemaid, okay, that his wife was the only survivor of a house fire that killed both of her parents when she was a little girl, and no one knows who started it yet. Like that, you know, just stuff that your employee would not need to know about you. Okay, anyway. So once again, he's volunteering information. He tells Millie, we find out that the 7-year-old girl that lives there, Cece, Andrew's daughter, is actually not his biological daughter. I made a big joke about that, because a guy like Andrew Winchester, okay, he's rich, he's young, he's handsome, good looking, okay, and hot, and tall, ripped abs, square jawed, okay, super fucking wealthy, respected, okay, gets all the pussy in his neighborhood wet. Okay, this guy is high value. Okay, what the hell is a high value guy doing wiping up a single mom? Okay, that would not happen in real life. Okay, yes, there's plenty of guys out there that wipe up a single mom. Absolutely. What I'm saying is that guys like Andrew Winchester do not do that. But the movies, chick flicks in general, only deal with men like Andrew Winchester. Okay, like men are all Christian Greys and shit. They're all fucking Bruce Wayne or some shit, and that's a load of crap, and we all know it. But no chick flick wants to go there, because this movie is all about the shitty things that men do to women. Like fuck them over, cheat on them, beat them up, hold them prisoner, all that kind of stuff. Okay, yeah, there's a few men that do that, but the men that do that are the men that can do that, are the men that have options. They're the men that can get a lot of fucking pussy. Okay, so it doesn't matter, okay, what they do, because there's always going to be another piece of ass there. Most men do not have that ability. Very few men do, and chick flicks only deal with those very few men, because those are the only men that are capable of hurting a woman who thinks she's all fucking that. You see what I mean? So like this movie automatically rules out 99% of all the available single men out there. Okay, just to focus on the evils of the 1%. And out of that 1%, judge all men by it. Okay, by what the 1% does. Okay? Like, get the fuck out of here. All right, come on. If you were, you know, I'm older, all right? So like my generation, I'm trying to think of a slut from like when I was young. Courtney Love, there's one, okay? Now, if you were, let's say like if I was dating two different women, right? One woman I dated was Courtney Love, and the other woman I dated was like a Mormon girl, okay? You know, Church of Latter-day Saints, you know, dressed very conservative. They always wear skirts that go down to their ankles, you know, collared shirts, you know, cuffs that go all the way to the wrist, you know. They're dressed very conservatively, very little makeup, you know, but they look pretty. They take respect in their appearance, you know, that kind of. They're not over here walking around with booty shorts, nothing like that, okay? Now, if I'm dating a woman like that, you know, it'd be like, okay, yeah, good for you, right? You know, and I tell you, hey, she cheated on me. You'd be like, oh my God, How could she do that to you? I did not see that coming at all. Right? Now, if I'm dating Courtney Love in the late 90s, okay, look at the way she looked. Look her up from the late 90s. Look at what she looked like back then, okay? And I tell you, oh, I'm dating Courtney Love, but she cheated on me. Okay, you know what women are going to say to me? They're going to be like, oh, no shit. No duh. What? She cheated on Edward Norton. She cheated on Kurt Cobain. Okay, she cheated on everybody. Okay, what the fuck? You think she's going to be faithful for you? What the fuck were you thinking going out with her? What the fuck were you thinking making her your girlfriend? See, that's what I mean. Okay, it's so fucking obvious. Okay? But this movie is oblivious to that. That a guy like that, like Andrew Winchester, would be abusive, okay, manipulating, controlling, and a cheater on top of all that. You see what I mean? But he is that percentage of men that can get away with it. You know? And it just pisses me off when women talk about how men are all assholes because they cheat. How come men can't stay faithful? Why can't men commit to a woman? Why is it so hard for men to open up about their feelings? Why is it so hard for men to just be faithful to their woman? Why is it so hard? You know, shit like that we hear all the fucking time on TikTok or whatever. Okay, it's because you date guys like him and you ignore the rest. That's why. If you only date guys that get your pussy wet and stuff that other women want to be with, okay, you're more than likely going to end up with a guy that has a very high opinion of himself, which means that he's not going to have as good of opinion of you. You see what I mean? But yet that whole rationality escapes the people that write these movies, or women in general. They don't seem to fucking understand that. You know? Like what the fuck? This guy has a lot of options. Why would he sell? What is it about you that he's going to want to wipe it up? And even if he did wipe it up, what's going to stop him from fucking around on you? You see what I mean? When women are throwing themselves at him left and right, what the fuck makes you think that he's going to settle down with you or that he's going to be faithful to you? You know, it's not going to happen. And what really pisses me off is not that there's guys like this out there. There's very few men like this out there. Most men are just average, ordinary guys. They don't want to cheat on their wives. They don't want to cheat. They're lucky if they can get a date, much less fucking, cheat on their drop-dead gorgeous wives with multiple women. Most guys can't do that. They're not capable of it. You see what I mean? But yet they're the ones that get treated like shit because of the shit that the men that are valuable treat them. You see what I mean? There's a word for it. It's called alpha widowed. Okay, that's a woman that, dates a high-value man, gets fucked over by him, and then gets mad that the next guy she's dating, who's actually average, doesn't turn her on the way the guy that fucked her over turned her on. And she takes it out on him. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. All right? So it's like once you're there, like, how can you fix that? You can't. You can't. The woman's already fucked up in the head. Okay? You see what I mean? And she already did things with that guy in bed that she'll never do with you. All right, so what the fuck? What are you wifing up here? Okay, she settled for you because she knows she can't do better. Okay, and that pisses her off that she can't do better because she knows that if she gets a high value guy, the guy's just gonna fuck her over like the last high value guy did. So she settled for your ass because she knows you won't fuck her over because she knows you can't fuck her over. Okay, but at the same time, she's gonna resent you for not turning her on the way the other guy did. You see what I mean? So it's a lose-lose situation all the way around. When I tell men like this, dude, get another girl. Get another fucking girl. Be with someone. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth being with an alpha widow, with a bitch like this, okay? She's never going to respect you. So I was going to compare you to the other guy, okay? But where are the movies that talk about that? You don't see those movies. They never make those movies. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so anyway, they're talking, they're having a private conversation. We find out that Andrew wifed up Nina, who was a single mom. All right, and that he really wants to have a lot of kids. He wants a soccer team full of kids with Nina, but she's having a hard time conceiving. Okay, and that's why they went to the doctor today. And it turns out that her ovaries can't really get fertilized or whatever the hell it is. So that kind of bums him out. Okay, and he was also like, I don't know, Nina, my wife's been acting crazy lately. Her mood swings and stuff, and the way she treats you, and blah, 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 and that now Millie's getting really turned on because now he's talking about how, he doesn't like the way the way Nina treats Millie, okay, which is true. Okay, Millie doesn't like the way Nina treats her, okay, but now she has an ally in Andrew because Andrew will stick up for her, you see? So that's also turning her on. the hot guy that owns the house, the husband, is actually like defending Millie to the psycho bitch Nina, who bosses her around, tells her what to do, humiliates her, gives her impossible tasks, takes her for granted, lies about her, throws things at her, and yells at her all the time. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so that's how she's forming a bond with Andrew. Okay, now in the middle of the night, Millie wakes up like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning again, or whatever. Okay, because she hears this time. It's not because she wants to have some snacks and watch Family Feud. This time it's because she hears Nina and Andrew yelling at each other. Okay, so she goes downstairs to find out what's going on. Now she knows that Nina, because those bitches that came over to the house that she was serving tea to, they mentioned openly in front of Millie when Nina was not in the room how they don't like Nina, how she's a psycho. She was in a psychiatric hospital for 9 months or something. That she didn't have a penny to her name when she married Andrew. Okay, and that if they divorce, she ain't gonna get 1 cent because he's got a prenup. Okay, and they all get turned on by Andrew. They all want to fuck Andrew behind Nina's back, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and they all said this in front of the fucking maid. Okay, so anyway, so she already knows that that Nina is seriously psycho. Okay, as a matter of fact, while they were gone during the day, she went into their bathroom and looked up the drugs that Nina's taken, the prescription medication, and it's for psychosis and for schizophrenia. Okay, not for conceiving. Okay, so yeah, she already knows that Nina could literally kill her in her sleep or something. So she wakes up in the middle of the night, goes downstairs, okay, to find out what the arguing is going on. Okay, she goes to the bedroom door and she knocks on it, and she doesn't ask. She hears Nina yelling, but she doesn't ask about Nina. She asks about Andrew. See what I mean? Andrew, are you okay? You see what I mean? So she's already like formed a bond with Andrew. Okay, her pussy's already belongs to Andrew. Okay. You know, Nina opens the door, and when she opens the door, she's got a huge piece of jagged, broken glass in her hand, and there's blood all over her hand and on the mirror, the broken mirror here. Okay, so now you would think Millie'd be like, like maybe she's gonna stab her with it, but no. Instead, she's just like, Andrew, are you okay? Like just to show that she's tough and she's not gonna be intimidated by a psycho woman. Okay, with a bloody, broken piece of mirror in her hand. Okay, she ain't gonna be intimidated by no bitch like that, because she's the real boss bitch here. That kind of fucking thing. All right, and asking about Andrew. How's Andrew doing? Right? Okay. She's holding a jagged, bloody shard of broken mirror in her hand, and she's laughing too. Yeah, like that. Okay, I think Norman Bates. Okay, so that's going on here, and she raises it. She raises the jagged piece in the air, and Nina's like, "What? You overheard those PTA cunts talking shit about me, saying that I'm crazy, that I don't deserve my husband." She's like, "That I belong in a nut house." Wow. I think Amanda Seyfried, who plays Nina, should win an Academy Award for this. Okay, and Millie's like, Andrew, are you okay? You know, okay. Andrew arrives just in the nick of time, and is permanently, like I said, he's got a surgically attached wife beater on at all times. You know, he takes away the jagged piece of mirror, okay, and he wraps a cloth around Nina's hand. Because she was holding the mirror so tight, her hand bled. So she wrapped some cloth around Nina's hand. So yes, clearly Nina is psychologically disturbed. Okay? And Nina's like, see? He's alive and well. Now, the whole reason they're gaslighting you here is because it has been hinted, like I said before, it has been hinted that when Nina was a little girl, she murdered her parents by setting the house on fire. Okay, she was the only survivor. Okay, so they're kind of hinting at it. Okay, and then on top of that, the psychoactive drugs that she's taking, and then the fact that Nina spent a lot of time in the nut house. Okay, that kind of thing. All right, so all this are red flags. Now Millie picks up these red flags. She doesn't pick up the other red flags, but this red flag she picks up. Maybe Nina is dangerous and unstable, and it's conceivable that Nina could kill her if she has one of those mood swings, or kill Andrew, or kill her daughter. Okay. So yeah, so this is a psycho woman that Millie realizes she's working for, that she's that dangerous, okay? But yet, of course, she still decides to keep saying, none of this is going to stop her from working there, though, just so you know, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Would turn your brain off at the door. Okay, anybody who saw anything like this would be, I'm the fuck out. I will go back to prison. At least there, they've got guards. Okay, here I could fucking be asleep and fucking my throat gets slit. Okay, it's not safe here. This woman is insane. Okay, I'm really, really wanting to fuck the husband here. Okay, the piece of shit daughter steals shit from me. Okay, and the mom is fucking batshit crazy and probably a murderess. Okay, so I don't feel safe living in a fucking room that locks from the outside in a soundproof room with one window that I can't open or escape from. Okay, I think I need to get the fuck out of here. Okay, not look for another job. Get the fuck out first and then look for another job, because it's not safe. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking. That's what a normal person would think. Okay, but this movie expects you to be fucking stupid and to keep eating the shit sandwich it keeps feeding you. All right. So that's going on here. So he's like, see, he's alive and well. And then Andrew looks at Millie real quick. Then he slams the door shut. All right. Now, the next day, Millie's cleaning the house when Nina comes down the stairs carrying a lot of beige clothes, like it's dresses and coats and skirts and all this beige. Everything Nina wears is beige, by the way, because everything in the house is beige. Okay. So she comes down the stairs with all these clothes, these very expensive beige clothes. All right. And she's all cheery now, like all happy. Okay, and she tells Millie that she cleaned up the mess from last night, all the blood, she cleaned it all up, all right? Okay, and Nina tells Millie that she's sorry for what happened last night. She said, I'm sorry I wasn't honest about the baby. I'm sorry I lied to you about the baby, because when she got hired, she told, because she's a housewife, she doesn't do shit. All Nina does for a living is turn food into shit. Okay, so she didn't really need a housemaid, okay? But she hired one because she's pregnant. You see, that's why. Now it turns out that was all bullshit. She ain't pregnant. She made it up. All right. So she says that she's sorry. She wasn't honest about not being pregnant. She's like, I guess I was trying to manifest something. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to face Andrew. Andrew's mother now. We met Andrew's mother, played by Elizabeth Perkins. Okay. You remember her. You remember her from Big, a bunch of other movies. Anyway. So, and she's a bitch. Okay. So, she's like, anyway, all these clothes are practically brand new. Okay. And I want you to have them. Okay. This will look amazing on you. The typical girly shit there. They'll go to Goodwill if you don't take them. All right. And she's like, oh, and by the way, I need you to get tickets for a musical called Showdown. Okay, that Andrew has been dying to go see it. Okay, and this is going to be my way of making it up to him for last night. So I need you to book us a hotel room and to get us 2 tickets to the Broadway showing of Showdown this Saturday, so that I can surprise my husband with it. Okay, and so Millie's like, okay, because remember, Millie has all the credit card information on her phone now. All right. So Nina says, oh, you are a lifesaver, Millie. I don't know what I would do without you. Just like that, with that evil look on her face, all right? I swear, the way you chicks, these nonverbal cues, man, it's crazy. Okay, so Millie waits for Cece. The next scene, Millie's at the ballet school, okay? Because Cece, the 7-year-old daughter, Nina's daughter, okay, she takes ballet lessons after school. So she's there to pick up Millie, to pick up Cece after her ballet class. While she's sitting there, there's another housemaid sitting next to her there. And that one strikes up a conversation. Her name is Suzanne. And she strikes up a conversation with Millie. Oh, so you're the housemaid for the Winchesters? Oh, I'm Suzanne. I'm the housemaid for the Who Gives a Fuck family, right? Okay, shuts up a conversation, with Suzanne. Millie points out that Cece, she's like, Cece kind of sucks at ballet, doesn't she? Which, yeah, I guess so. She's not very good. Okay. And Suzanne says, like, oh, but don't worry about it. None of the other girls will give Cece any sort of shit. Okay. They will all treat her with respect. Okay. Especially after what she's been through. Okay. So now Millie's like, what do you mean? What has Cece been through that I don't know about? Okay. Because they all know about, apparently, all the girls in ballet class know about Cece's psycho mom. Okay? So Suzanne tells Millie, okay, that Nina once tried to drown Cece. Yes, tried to murder her own baby, okay, in a bathtub when she was a baby, and then tried to kill herself, okay, with pills. Yes, apparently that happened, okay? And the reason Cece didn't die is because Andrew was calling her, and Nina would not answer the phone, so he ran home. He ran home immediately, and luckily he was able to save Cece before she died. Okay? Okay. He called the police. No, he called the police for a wellness check. He couldn't get a hold of Nina. He called the cops to do a wellness check, and they're the ones that saved Cece from dying. Okay, from drowning. Okay. Okay, that's what saved Cece. That's why Cece's still alive. And Suzanne's like fucked up, right? Okay, now Millie just looks like she's going to shitters, like that, like she's gonna shit. And once again, despite all this that we've already talked about, and I've already told you about, the room that she's in that's soundproof, she can't escape from, she gets locked in, the phone that's controlled by Nina, okay, the mood swings, getting fired one second, not getting fired the next, being told she's a lying bitch one second, get the fuck out of my house, the next second, I couldn't do anything without you, I'm so grateful for you, okay, the mood swings like crazy, the daughter treating her like a piece of shit, okay, the husband who's flirting with her and that she's getting turned on by, okay, all this kind of shit. The fact that nobody checked her resume to see if it was fake, because she actually was in jail for fucking 10 years, okay? She wasn't at some Ivy League school like she put down on her resume, okay? All these factors, okay? The fact that she knows Nina is taking psychoactive drugs, okay? And now that Nina tried to kill her daughter, okay? That Nina's parents were murdered in a fire, but nobody caught the person who started, but Nina survived. All that shit. And still, Millie wants to keep working there. This is what I'm talking about. We're not even done yet. There's a lot more shit that's going to happen here. But that's the situation, okay? And that's why this movie does not pass the bullshit test, okay? Okay, and yes, she still is going to continue to work there. All right. Okay, I'm getting worked up, okay? Okay, I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back soon to continue my review of this crappy movie. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.